It's now time for the Ray Longo Minute.
I want you to punch a hole in his fucking chest. That's what I want.
The Ray Longo Minute.
Starring Ray Longo. The Jon Anik and Kenny Florian podcast.
All right, folks. I think we're live. We taped episode 299 of the Anik and Florian podcast yesterday, and we did so without Ray Longo. So we understand for the Minute Men and the Minute Women out there, this was very upsetting. So I appreciate all the requests coming in to join me live, but we're waiting for Raymond Peter Longo. As many of you know, he was on the road back-to-back weeks, first with Chris Weidman, an obviously emotional week, and then he was with Merab Dvalishvili, who had a big win this past weekend in Las Vegas. But I appreciate all of you guys. I love you guys too. Excited to get back at it this weekend. Yes, I will be in Las Vegas for UFC Fight Night. Is it Rodriguez versus Watterson? I still don't have a fight card, and it's 6 days away. So we will see if that indeed is the main event. But it's great to see you fine people. What a start for the combat sports leader here in 2021, right? It's been absolutely incredible. I'm trying to navigate this here with Longo, right? I mean, Jiri Prochazka, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about him today. And, of course, Merab and Giga Chikadze. Time permitting, we'll get into the Diego Sanchez stuff. It's really disappointing to me because I know his fight with Clay Guida is in the UFC Hall of Fame, but I think on his own merits, Diego Sanchez should be a first ballot UFC Hall of Famer. And with all of this noise and the way his UFC career is now coming to this unceremonious end, you know, I'm not sure it's going to happen for him. I hope that it will. But I don't want to get into it too much. You know, obviously there's some people out there that want me to fight his trainer now. The mustache is here. It's here. You can't see it, but I did shave the face, but the mustache is here. It'll be back by the weekend. Sorry, a little sweaty here. So we're waiting on Ray Longo. He was flying yesterday. We taped the episode of the podcast without him. So I want to talk to him about Merab's performance and this winning streak for Dvalishvili. I'm really curious who gets the better of training with him and Aljamain Sterling. Our podcast producer, Cody Merrow, would suggest that it's Aljo. But I'm curious what those sessions are like. I really am. While I'm waiting, hello to the Croatians out there. Gotta love you. Grow the hair out. All right. Absolutely not growing the hair out, so I don't know what to tell you on that front. So my twin brother, who, as many of you know, hosts Remember the Show with Bilal Muhammad Thursday nights on the Anik and Florian Podcast YouTube channel. If you want to see what I look like with long hair, you know, you can go watch that fine program, but I am not growing it out. But I will take your questions as we wait on Ray Longo. He's only 1 minute late right now, so we'll see if he can request to get in here. Greetings from the 305. What's up, Miami? Yeah, who doesn't love Raymond Peter Longo? We understand he's the star of the show. It doesn't mean we're necessarily going to rename the show like AFL, Anik Florian Longo, but we understand that he's the star of the show. Yes, I have an identical twin brother at Boston Anik on Instagram. Make some Anik merchandise. So we do have some merchandise at AnikFlorianPodcast.com. We obviously have podcast gear with the AF monogram and logo, Ray Longo Minute gear, Remember the Show gear, Don't Text and Drive gear, and we have a special release coming this week at AnikFlorianPodcast.com. Perhaps that puts a little pressure on my merchandise guy. All right, everybody wants to know about the Diego Nightmare Sanchez stuff. So in that fighter meeting, right, I'm just trying to sort of lay back. And ultimately, it's about the athlete and respecting the athlete. So even if the founder of the School of Self-Awareness may be the least self-aware individual that I've ever met, that is that team's moment. It's Diego's moment. It's Joshua Fabia's moment. So far be it from me to try to inject my ego into the equation. I'm a listener in that setting. And obviously they had an agenda. They had an axe to grind with the broadcast team. They felt as though some narrative was being painted on the broadcast. I hadn't called a lot of the fights that were in question, but I guess that is neither here nor there. But ultimately, I went outside fight with Diego Sanchez to pay my respect to Diego and to let him know how I feel about him as not just a pioneer, but as someone who put forth a Hall of Fame body of work, and he deserves all the respect in the world. But things have gone a little bit sideways, and I'm not sure that there isn't some brainwashing going on, but I have respect for all the individuals involved, and just a weird situation. But as I sort of have articulated, and a lot of you guys know this, not a show goes by where we're not upsetting somebody, and that is not our intention. But after almost every show, the broadcast team has some fire to put out, whether it's with a fighter or a coach or a fan, and we're trying to do our very best to be as all-knowing about these 30 athletes or so for every show as is humanly possible. But certainly sometimes things slip through the cracks. That's not our intention. But again, we're trying to paint all these men and women in the best possible light we can, and that's the focus, show in and show out. Cody No Love. A lot of people want to talk about Cody No Love Garbrandt with a fight coming up against Rob Font. Can't wait. I don't believe I'm calling that one. A lot of people talking about the shaved head. I've been shaving my head since 1994, so I am not growing out my hair. I grew it out once. I mean, you can see I'm not balding. Like, I will die with a bunch of fucking white hair, but I'll be shaving it until the day I die. So I don't know what to do about Longo, folks. I know that's the reason a lot of you guys are here. Anik versus Fabian, make it happen, Dana. Yeah, I'm not sure about all that noise. All right, I'm going to request. We'll see if that works. I am waiting for Ray Longo. I just sent him a request.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, I hear him.
Isn't that better?
All right, I think I figured it out. So from now on, I'm going to send the request to you. But I'm sorry for keeping you waiting, man. It's great to see you. Welcome home.
Wow, good to be home. It's especially good to be home after a nice performance like that. Definitely happy as hell for Merab. Obviously, a tough fight with Cody Stamen. Not tough, but I mean, Cody's just a well-rounded, great kid, good fighter, and that was just a fun fight for Merab. That's the way he put it to me. Just really had a blast.
You can tell. I mean, he smiles when he gets hit. He truly loves fight night, unlike most of the men and women on this roster. He really thrives on fight night. Cool as a cucumber. I thought it was a tough fight at times. You know, it's not every day he loses a round. He did lose a round on 2, I think, of the 3 judges' scorecards. Cody Stamen's tough as hell. I mean, you have he has your respect, obviously. You fought an in-shape, full training camp Cody Stamen. I think you got a very good version of him and still were dominant, you know?
Yeah, I think the fight was close. I looked at the fight again, but I don't understand any round they gave him. I'm saying it very competitive. That's not taking anything away. But when you get to the end of that round, there was no way of giving Cody a round. I don't know which round it would have been. I mean, he never mounted a couple of attacks in a row. You know what I mean? He was always stymied going in. I think the difference in the fight was I don't think they expected Merab to throw hands with him and, to stand up like that. And Merab's, definitely been working on that the last 2 fights. He was always, believe it or not, he was hesitant in throwing some shots, even in sparring. And then when I got him over that hurdle, he's really starting to look good. And he throws pretty good, and I think it's only going to get better. He's starting to really believe in his stand-up. And I thought he looked great. I was very happy with his performance.
Yeah, you got to be really happy with the boxing. That right hand looked great, man.
Beautiful, like a missile. Yeah, I knew it, like, even when he was warming up. Merab, you're just a different guy. Like, his hands are up. He's not really dropping his hands. If you go back and look at, like, some of his older fights, he's like just a Mad Hatter swinging, because the beautiful thing with Merab is he's got the balls, man. And when you get a guy with balls and heart like that, that's easy to train.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's not gun shy. He's going to step in. He's going to throw. And I think he needs that side of his game to complement his aggression with the wrestling and his cardio. And you got a problem. Definitely got a problem with this kid.
So to what extent do you believe that Merab is championship material? And I will add to my question that you're in a unique position here. Team Sarah Longo has 2 guys essentially in the top 8 or so, the champion and then Merab Dvalishvili. I don't know how much insight you can give us as to how competitive their training sessions are, but I'd imagine you think Merab, with this extended winning streak, is ready for top 5 competition. I mean, do you believe this kid eventually can be the UFC champion?
I'll tell you what, the progression he's on now, yes, I do. I think that fight Saturday night was a big fight because Cody's I think that's a pretty good gauge on where you're at. And he's only getting better. It's like he's willing to put the time in, and he's willing to do it. So, it all comes down to your matchups, and he needs now a really big fight, and then we'll have a really good idea. But so far, he's been allowed to grow properly, I think. You know what I mean? Even this fight was just enough of a step up to see where he's at. And look, it's pretty obvious now, John. Honestly, you're going to have to kill him to beat him. Like, you're not going to out-hustle him, right? So you really got to do something to put the fear of God in him, or he's not going away. There's no question about it. He's got a great chin that he hasn't had to rely on yet. You know what I mean? So I see this was the first time I'm going to say, yeah, let's get a named guy, and we'll get a great look at where I think this guy's going to go. But right now, I think it's been a perfect trajectory to where he wants to go.
I'm so glad to hear you say that someone's going to have to put him to sleep, because it's better you than me saying it. I said on the podcast yesterday, like, literally your strategy with this guy has to be a finish. You have to forget about any strategy that's going to be 15 minutes or scorecards. You have to separate him from consciousness. He has this Terminator quality
without a doubt
that just very, very few individuals have. I mean, I would think he's just such a resource for Aljo. I mean, my God, the dude just never fucking stops.
No. Well, they complement each other so well, because, like, even with Aljo, when Aljo's fighting, even if he's fighting a guy that doesn't have the, Merab style, we still use Merab just for the push, because you're not going away. And I mean, there was one fight I remember I've told the story on the podcast also, is that, Aljo was waiting to spar Merab, and, he did 3 rounds with another fighter first. And then I remember Aljo going, is he fucking with me right now? Like, he already did 3. Now he's going to do 3 or 5 with him. Like, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
And there's going to be certain guys that you got to remember, John, this is another critical point. We haven't even gotten into 5-round fights with him. That's where I believe he's going to be a complete nightmare, because he's not stopping. I mean, that 5 rounds, he's going to do exactly the way he did the first round. It'll be the exact way he does the 5th round. He's got that type of cardio. I don't even see him taking a break. I mean, he loves, look, when you have good cardio and you love what you do, that really makes it easy. Like, if you don't have good cardio and you love what you do, you could get by because you love it so much, right? But he's got both. He's got the gas tank and the love and the passion and the desire to just do what he wants to do. So this was a biggie for me. I was really, really impressed. And again, based on, Cody being a quality opponent.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And obviously that fight fell through and then was put back on the boards. It looked like maybe there was going to be a fight against Raoni Barcelos at some point. But yeah, Merab is off and running, and just an absolute joy to watch fight, to watch compete, to watch on social media. It just seems like a really good dude and a unifying force for the team. And we could spend a lot of time on him. And I think you're right. Getting him into a 5-round setting, a main event, in a division that has so many compelling names and matchups. I mean, you can main event him against Sugar Sean O'Malley right now if you wanted to. I wouldn't turn my nose up at that.
I think he's willing for anybody at this point. I think he said it in his interview too. So I like where he's at. And again, the thing I like with also, John, is even if he takes a big step up and he loses, he's going to grow from it. It will have no effect on him. I think that's the mindset he has. So I think he's going to be around for a while because of that. He's never going to get down. Look, the most I talk to him actually is in between rounds. He starts just having a conversation with him. No, I feel good. It's not even, I'm not like coaching. I'm just listening to what he has to say. I mean, he really is funny. He's like, he thought he wasn't even pressing it the other night. He said, look, that was just fun. I was just having a good time. I mean, like, there's guys that say it and there's guys that mean it.
Right.
He means it. Like, he's like, when I told him, who was the guy, Dotson, he fought before, I said, come on, let's pick it up. Let's see if we can get, this is just fun. This is good.
Right.
No, but just, he's got a great way of thinking about things and very practical. Always grateful for everything. You're right. He's a unifying force in the gym. There's nobody that doesn't like this guy. That's how well liked he is.
And I believe the name that he mentioned was Dominic Cruz after the fight. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
So that's one of my best friends in the world. So we would be divided there. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm actually not kidding. I love both those guys. But no, I will say, I don't think Dom is going to be in a 5-round main event unless it's for the title. You know, I could see Dom in a co-main event setting on pay-per-view or in that featured prelim slot. But I think that fight makes sense as well. You know, I just think Merab's style is such, Ray, that there are a lot of these guys that are not gonna want to fight him. You know, I really believe that it's not a very appetizing matchup for a lot of these strikers in the top 15. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think he's going to get a top 10 guy for sure. I mean, definitely. I think they threw out a couple of names, maybe Marlon Moraes. He wanted Dominic.
Oh, I like that.
You know,
I like that.
You know, that I believe a 5-round fight against Stephen Marlon will be a nightmare. You know, if Marlon can't get rid of him quick, that's just going to get worse and worse, you know. So that's not a bad matchup either against a guy who, you know, who's a monster. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can.
Oh, you take all the time in the world. Some people are suggesting you need to wipe your lens off on your camera. I don't know if it's a little bit dusty from the romantic comedy last night. Ooh, I don't know. Oh, all right. So Ray's changing the backdrop here.
A little better.
You know, a little worse, but it's fine.
Is it worse or
no? It's fine. It's fine.
So it's a dark room.
It's fine. You look great. You look great. I can tell that you didn't wash your hair, but that's fine.
Yeah,
so how are you doing? Some of the listeners, some of the viewers want to know how you're doing. Obviously, the travel to Jacksonville with Chris, the emotional nature of that week. Quick turn to Las Vegas on Wednesday. Have you talked to Chris? How are you doing? How are you holding up?
Yeah, look, for me, it's twofold. It's hard, right? It really is hard because, you know, I'm invested. You know, these are friends, man. It's not this could be a friend of mine who's a car mechanic. It's the same thing. It's not the fight. They're friends, right?
Right,
so,
of course.
But I guess if there's a bright side, I don't have time to think about it. You know what I mean? So I texted with Chris. I didn't even talk to him after I got to Vegas. I mean, I'm sure I'll call him today, but I don't feel like I have the time. It's mentally rough, you know, dude. I swear to you, I mean, I'm not getting younger. I think I have a really young mentality. There's no question about that. I still act like a complete jackass, which is good.
Yes,
I'm never going to give that up. But this was rough. You know, I probably should have just went right to Vegas. It would have been easier. But coming back, you know, I go right back into the gym, working out, teaching, and then jumping on a plane like that again. This one was a little rough. So we got a little bit of a break now, and I'm going to take advantage of it and, you know, tie up some loose ends and, you know, hopefully really, really want to get Merab back in the gym and keep working with him. Not like a crazy pace, but really tighten some stuff up that I think will really help him. I'm very excited about his path. And then hopefully Chris heals up, man, just not even for, you know, I'm sure he's going to fight again, but just for himself. He did say, I think it just whatever, I think it ended, it sucks. I mean, he's definitely having some trouble feeling his toes, I think. And there's so much anxiety and shit that goes along with this crap. It's not you know, he's going to get through it because he's been through so much that he's not going to have a problem. But you know, while you're going through it, I think, you know, it seems like it's going to be forever. We know it's not, but you know.
Shout out to the undisputed UFC bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling, who just checked in here. He said you did not clean your room before you left Vegas. That can't be true, right?
Oh, that's 100%. That's 100% true. I thought I was supposed to do that. I just threw everything. I was in I had to be on the bus at 5 a.m.
Oh, okay, all right.
You want me there?
Great to see Aljo in here.
Put on my fucking housekeeping outfit and start, you know, cleaning the room. I left that.
So we're probably going to have Chris on our 300th episode of the Anik and Florian podcast next Monday, but it's a really hard thing, right? And I sort of intimated as much on the show this week, but you know, there's so much support for Chris when this first happens, and then 72 hours expire and everybody moves on with their lives, and here is Chris with a fucking rod in his leg and 3 children and relegated to crutches. And so I just think the more people can take a minute to just pass along, even just an Instagram comment every now and again, just be like, hey, hope you're having a good day, man, you know, because there are going to be some tough days for him. And, I just feel like this is an MMA community that gets behind people in such a powerful way. And I hope Chris doesn't just feel it like for 2 days. I hope he feels it for 2 months.
Yeah, I think that support's going to be critical. It always helps, obviously, when you're in not that it's a dark place, but it's just uplifting to know that people you got a big fan base and they're behind you and all that stuff. Yeah, I think that's a huge thing because, we're in a world, John, we're here today, gone tomorrow, right?
Right.
What did you do yesterday?
Exactly. That's why I tell him faith and flour, Chris, faith and flour.
That's it.
So what did you think of Jiri Prochazka? Were you back in your hotel room when he was
we
fighting
watched. Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I like I like the fact. I mean, there's a lot to like. First of all, he seems like a great guy, huge. And listen, let's give it up to Dominic Reyes, man. He hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, John.
Dude,
I'm going to tell you, to me, what won that fight, a big part, is Yuri's chin. I mean, that guy has a chin of gray. It looked like he wasn't even touched. And Dominic Reyes was unloading on him. He definitely hit him with his best shots. That's the scary part. This guy kept coming forward. Again, I think his mindset is another guy just having a great time in there. And when it's almost like being in a car crash, right? When you're drunk, right? If you're drunk, you just bounce around. Everything's good. It's not that bad. You could survive some stuff. If you're tensing up like that, no good, right? So I think that's what you're seeing with some of these guys. The guys that really enjoy being there, there's a factor that it really helps. I mean, he got hit with big shots, and I'm sure he had to be kind of hurt, but he did not show it, and he kept going forward. He's got weird angles. He's got good experience. He's and he's huge. He's a big dude, man. He's a big kid.
When we sat down with Jiri Prochazka before his UFC debut against Volkan Oezdemir, there was just something special about this young man. He is a true martial artist, has such an appetite for books and learning and well-roundedness, as I mentioned, not unlike Valentina Shevchenko. And I think the reason he resonates with fans to such an extent is just the violent style. I mean, he is caution to the wind. You're right. He got hit with a lot of left hands from Reyes. I know a lot of people are chiming in that Prochazka didn't have a scratch on him, but he was buckled at one point in this fight. I can assure you of that. I mean, the back and forth nature of this fight was why it was the fight of the night. Certainly, Jiri got more done than Reyes did, and I think in some respects, Reyes was lucky to even see a second round. But I mean, Jiri Prochazka, dude, like this guy's as watchable as it gets. Like this dude's fan base has absolutely exploded in 2 UFC fights. There are points of comparison, guys who have risen to superstardom pretty quickly, and maybe that's too strong a word, but this dude's all the rage right now, Ray, and he might be fighting for a title before the year's out.
Yeah. Hey, look, the people that are rating, they're correct. He didn't have a mark on him. That doesn't mean he didn't get hit. I think it's another good point for him. He's got great facial structure, skin, whatever the heck it is, because he took shots, but he looked like he wasn't even in a fight. He was in a dog fight. I mean, that was a back and forth fight for a while. Doesn't mean he didn't get hit, but power to him. He looked fantastic. And look, I tell you this from the beginning. I'm a martial artist at heart, right? So when I see Rose doing Sinawali with the double sticks with Craig Nelson, I love it, man. I love it. I love that because it gives you another side to yourself. It's not like, it's self perfection, right? We used to say it's either self perfection or self preservation. So you want to have both, but you need that side of you where you're artistic. And even watching Jiri doing like he was doing, I'm assuming it was qigong, and you could see he was doing the breathing and all the, like the Tai Chi type of movements, which I think is fantastic. If it puts your mind in a different spot. If you're that guy, some guys just can't accept it. They don't want. What do I want to do that for? Get out of here. Right. But when you have everything, man, and you have the martial side and that fighting side along with the mental side, I think it becomes a problem. You could see, like even Rose, how cerebral she is. What a sweetie, right? Like it's just but she's violent in there when she gets in there. I mean, look, she could throw, and he's like, he's different. He's got a different style, but it's the same mentality. You know what I mean? They can go from soft to hard in a split second, and that's what I like. I actually love it.
That's why people tune in for the IG live, soft to hard in a split second. Some listeners want to know what shirt size, Venom, what fight kit were you wearing for Merab after the Triple X Weidman disaster a week prior? We get the fight kit all sorted out.
I went down to a double X. It fit
I knew
pretty
it.
good.
I knew it.
Can I tell you? But I tell you, John, after this, I'm heading to the gym. I got to get in an XL in the Venom. That's the only thing that's going to make me happy now. So I got a little inspiration. I haven't had that since Reebok came out with its first line. So,
all right.
Anyway.
Also, what is the worst liver shot that you have ever taken? Do you remember taking any particularly bad liver shot? I got Ken Flo pretty good once when we were training together. I said on the podcast I dropped Flo with a body
tell you,
shot.
man, I've been lucky, man. I've never been dropped with a body shot.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Even when I used to play with Weidman, he'll tell you I used to smack my stomach like, "Go ahead, take a couple of shots." I think. I mean, I got luck. It's all luck, but I mean, I've. Man,
it's not your oblique workouts.
Something. I don't know. You know. All right. And John, it very well could be the quality of people I'm sparring.
Well, I bring it up in the context
because I tell you seriously, those girls don't hit as hard as the guys. You know, so it makes it a little easier.
I bring it up in the context of what Giga Chikadze did to the forever tough Cub Swanson, right?
Yeah.
Because Swanson was just writhing in pain for him to be eliminated from the fight with that singular strike. What were your thoughts on the co-main event in Chikadze, brother?
Let me tell you something, man. Chikadze, first I got to meet him for the first time. What an absolute sweetheart.
I'm telling you,
these guys, man.
He might be the nicest dude in the sport, that guy.
Yeah, he's really, really a very, we went down to congratulate him and Rafael Cordero. It was another, they exude just niceness and confidence and, just people you want to be around. You don't walk away from there going, you're happy when you walk away from there. You're a better person. Like that's the way I felt when I went down there to talk to them. I was with Merab and Pumi and Wilson, and it just was a great. I'll put up a couple of pictures we took, but really, really just great people. And that guy's a sniper, man. He's for real. That kick was no joke. And I don't care who you are. You get kicked in the liver, you're probably you're going to feel something, you know. So I'm excited to see where he's going too. I mean, I Georgia's well represented now in the UFC. You know, the Republic of Georgia.
There's no doubt about it. That's a long list of guys, and we appreciate the Funkmaster Aljamain Sterling just loading up the comments here on this IG Live. A couple other things I want to get to, Ray. We got about 5 more minutes before Longo has a class to teach. So I thought I was flying to Vegas for TJ Dillashaw and Corey Sandhagen. Perhaps this conversation will be interesting for Aljamain Sterling, right? So I think if you're Aljo on the mend from neck surgery, you're not rooting for the division to be held up. You're not rooting for Dillashaw to get cut in training, but certainly this delay doesn't hurt Sterling, right? The fact that these guys are now going to be delayed a little bit. It looks as though they're going to put that main event between Corey Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw back together. But Ray, I'm sitting here. It's May 3rd. I don't have a fight card. I know I'm flying to Vegas for a fight card in 5 days. I don't even know what the main event is necessarily. UFC has yet to confirm it for this weekend.
Yeah, that had to be a big, big blow to them, man. I was so looking forward to that fight, as I'm sure everybody was. I hope they just get that fight rebooked as quick as possible, but we'll see what happens with that. It looked like a pretty nasty cut.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to fight through it or maybe go Merab style and get it glued shut, but I think it was just too deep. So
yeah, Merab had a pretty bad gash over his eye that I thought 100% would open up in the fight, and it didn't. So I'm glad for that. But I'm going to say that cut's not stopping Merab from fighting, but that doesn't mean anything. I think TJ did the right thing. I'm not taking a knock at him, but there are certain guys that just wouldn't even give a shit. I've seen him glue his cuts together where I have him set up with a great plastic surgeon, and he's never showed up once to that plastic surgeon. And I've had him. We've had him booked like 3 times. He's just, I think this is the first time he actually took stitches. I'm not sure, But it looks like they did a good job on it because I thought that was definitely going to open up. So
Merab's like, if I take this piece of bark off the tree and rub it on the cut, I think that'll close it. The dude's an
no, but that's a different one. That he got stapled. No, he got kneed in the head, and he got cut before the fight. 3 weeks out, 2 weeks or 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And I would also tell people, and again, I'm trying to get to as many of these comments. TJ Dillashaw has passed 24 drug tests leading up to this event. So he's been in the USADA pool the whole time, and he has passed 24 drug tests. So past discretions and transgressions fully understood. He has been clean leading up to this fight. All right, Ray, anything else on the tip of your tongue before we let you fly? We got a big pay-per-view coming up in a couple weeks. Anything else, my man, before I let you go? I just wanted to see your face. You know, it's like we push out an episode without Longo and all hell breaks loose, you know?
I'm looking at what else did Al just say? I didn't even get a chance.
He said Merab busted his nose 3 weeks before the Sandhagen fight. He was joking around. He was saying that it was a fake cut for Dillashaw because everybody thinks that he was faking it, you know. Or I shouldn't say everybody, but he's going at the masses pretty well, which I like to see.
Let me tell you something. I don't think there's going to be a fighter in his weight class that gets injured that he's not going to jump all over that and
of course.
cause a ruckus because if I know him.
Hey, before I let you go, have you seen the way things have sort of spiraled out of control with Diego Sanchez, who will now not be fighting Donald Cowboy Cerrone in what was to be his UFC retirement fight this weekend?
Dude, I reluctantly, because Matt asked me, did you see the video? And I said, no, I don't even want to look at it. And then I reluctantly looked at it, just appalling. I don't even know what word to use, but, you know, there's people out there in this world that exist like that. And my advice to people is just get the fuck away from him. You're never going to deal with that guy. There's only two things that guy will understand. It's either death or the jail door hitting him in the back of the ass. Like, they're never going to get it. What I saw in that fighter meeting, and hats off to who's the girl at the end? I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. The Thai boxing girl, sweetheart. Another. Come on, who was in the room that like attacked him at the end? She did a great
boxer. I don't know.
Oh man,
anyway,
she did a great job. I mean, it's about him. I love Diego, man. Somebody's got it. There needs to be an intervention. What I saw that video was just narcissistic to the fucking 100th degree. It's just. I can't tolerate these guys. I just can't. And he'll never get it. And you just got to get away from. There's no
Angela Hill. I think
Angela Hill.
Sorry, so I didn't go back and watch it. Okay, full disclosure. Like I went through it once. I didn't need to go back.
No. I don't blame you. Angela Hill hit it out of the ballpark with that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's about him. It really is. That's all it's about. I can't believe Diego can't see that. You know, I guess when you're in it, you know, like when you're in that circle, everybody on the outside could see it except for you.
Well, right. Is everybody out there wrong? Is Ray Longo and Michael Bisping and all of these MMA authorities and good people, is everybody wrong about this individual, right? Like, it seems like Diego Sanchez is tuning out all of the good noise right now about this guy. And I said off the top of our little broadcast today, like, school of self-awareness. I pride myself on my perceptibility and reading people and being a good human being. This dude is totally unaware of self, so much so that he is brainwashing a decorated mixed martial artist and sort of raping the man of who he is, brainwashing him to such an extent that he's completely lost himself, you know? So it's a sad thing. I've had conversations with Fabia. I think he's a well-intentioned guy, but man, I mean, this has spiraled totally out of control. And, you know, Diego's a father. I mean, you know?
John, I'm telling you right now, this is narcissism to the 1000th degree. That's all it is. And I hope there's not a tinge of sociopathy attached to it. But this guy they've survived their whole life. They have a way of, you know, doing what he did to Diego. Diego's not the first guy he's done this to. Yeah. And whether he's aware of it or not, you got to get one of these like profilers in there and have him watch that video, and you will see you'll hear shit that you don't want to hear. Trust me. You know, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not even talking about martial art credentials, but the way he conducted himself in that interview, and when he went up to Matt, and nobody even knows who he is. Well, Matt had no idea who the guy was, but again, in this guy's mind, John, in his world, everybody knows who he is. You can't even mention my name.
Oh,
That's how bad it. Well, I mention you. Nobody knows who you are.
Well, right.
But can you imagine? Can you imagine walking around like that, conducting your life, or feeling that way? I mean, this is a personality disorder. And I love Diego. I think the guy's he's a wacky dude, but he's a great guy. Great guy. Only wish the best for that guy. But this guy is just, whether he's trying to capitalize off his name or whatever he's doing, but he got him out of the UFC now, so he should be happy. He did something that took, the guy's been there for 16 years. He was able to dismiss that in 5 minutes.
Right. And yes, I agree with everybody. Like, it's super funny when Paul Felder says, I didn't sign up for your lecture, but I'm trying not to lean into that side of things, because ultimately it's about the athlete, and that's Diego Sanchez. And Diego wanted me to drop the dude's name on the broadcast. So you know what I went out and did when Diego fought Jake Matthews? I fucking dropped the dude's name, because it's about the athlete at the end of the day. And as brainwashed as I think he is in this whole sequence, it's still at the end of the day about Diego Sanchez.
And John, let me ask you a question. Do you think Diego wanted you to drop his name, or do you think Diego was told to tell you to drop his name? What do you think?
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
This is all of that, but when I was in the hallway,
this is what they do. They get in with somebody to get to the next level, right? You got to do this. You got to do that. Dude, I've been very familiar with this. We all know guys, John, me and you, that are pretty similar to this guy, right? I think, anyway. We could talk about it off air, but this is a personality disorder. That's all it is. And unfortunately, Diego's in the middle of it. And it would take some really strong people on Diego's side to get him out of that, because these guys know exactly what they're doing. They know what to say, and they know what your weaknesses are, and they're going to prey on it, period.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, I was in the hallway there with Bonner and Diego, and they were all sort of singing Joshua's praises and talking about, how Diego has fared better and been less hittable and gotten through these training camps. But again, there's a lot of hypocrisy and a lot of talking out of both sides. And hey, it's really sad for Diego,
very sad,
because this is a guy who, yes, his fight with Clay Guida went into the Hall of Fame, which is awesome. But Diego Sanchez should have gotten in as a modern era UFC Hall of Famer, where his career would be celebrated for a night with his family and friends there. And I don't know that we're ever going to get there now. So I don't know. That's enough about that. But yeah, I mean, that's obviously a weird fighter meeting. They all can take on sort of different tones, and we've had fighters cry, obviously, and had fighters who don't have a lot to say, and the meetings last 2 or 3 minutes. But yeah, we felt sort of bombarded, and didn't expect that video to get released, but here we are,
Yeah. How did it get released?
Well, right.
Any press is good. He thinks that favors him, that video. In his head.
Well, right.
That's the crazy part. He thinks that's a home run for him.
Well, and, our executive Hunter, who is a really good dude, he was the one who hit the home run in the other video that they released, Hunter comes off beautifully, and these guys anyway, that's enough about that. So what do you got? What do you got coming up top of the hour? We got adult jiu-jitsu. Is that what we got? Adult jiu-jitsu?
No, I'm going to grab a workout, and then I got the class. Hopefully I'll see I'll see some of the other guys there's a lot of guys that have fights coming up within the next 6 weeks. So, hopefully get everybody back on track of I'm here for like 5 or 6 weeks minimum. So I'm looking forward to just spending time with the family and getting back to doing what I love doing.
I love it. Well, Aljo, thanks for chiming in.
Man, Aljo, I think it was Aljo's Instagram thing. All I see is his name. Oh, it is a guy wanted to know if I have hemorrhoids. Yeah, that's nice. I don't believe so, but it's a possibility.
You can go check after the show, Ray. But if you want the entire episode 299 of the Anik and Florian podcast, you can go to the YouTube channel right now. Also, don't forget Bilal Muhammad's Remember the Show is back this Thursday. And this video will be repurposed on our channel later today. Raymond, back in the Monday slot on Monday morning for a pay-per-view next week. So I guess I will talk to you then. I'm going to reach out to Carolina Chris later today. We'll see where he's at. So.
All right. Beautiful. And thank you, John, for doing this. And thank you, Aljo. Appreciate it, buddy. I didn't get to go to your house and sit out by the pool, but next time for sure.
I mean, I don't know. I think I have Aljo's wrong cell phone number. I can't get the dude to text me back, but he's up here on Instagram Live. Maybe if I want communication with Aljo, I just got to go live on Instagram.
Exactly.
So, yeah, truly know it. Hey, Ray, have a great day. We'll talk to you.
You too. Great seeing you, buddy. Take it easy, everybody.